You know, sometimes we get just so attached to this idea of chasing and becoming somebody and being seen and playing these roles. And even when we have a purpose, sometimes we don't realize that we are still trying to achieve our purpose, our mission, serve, but from this energy of trying to be somebody in the process. And when we're too attached to these roles, like, oh, I need to be seen as this healer, as this powerful, or this businessman, or whatever the identity is, or as a good person, or whatever it is, to some degree, it's going to block you. And so definitely this isn't the path for everybody, but this is where I'm being called. I'm really being called to embrace this energy of nobody. And it goes deeper than just, oh, I'm nobody. There's layers to it. On one layer, it's about letting go of the idea of being somebody at the cost of being nobody to myself. Oftentimes we're chasing this idea of being somebody in the world at the cost of being nobody to ourselves, of not honoring who we are, of not getting to know ourselves, or as the saying goes, gaining the world and losing your soul in the process, right? Or never even knowing your soul. And so that's the one layer of it. And on a deeper layer, when you go even deeper, it's like you become the void in the nobody. In the nobody, the nobody energy from that vantage point is full possibility. Full probability is the void. And you're pretty much this empty container that will allow itself to mold, to be filled up at any moment by God and by whatever the moment calls you to be. And from that space, you're able to flow with much more fluidity and ease and grace throughout life. And I know that everything that I've been through, the path that I chose, has not been in vain. I've chosen some really, really difficult and painful lessons for my human self. And it's because I know that in this lifetime, you know, my soul contract is a 9-9. I'm here on a completion. This lifetime for me is completion. It's mastery of everything that I've been mastering lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. And part of that, part of what I've been doing for many lifetimes is finding this balance between walking between both worlds, between the spirit, the multidimensional realm, and the earthly realm, and really being able to seamlessly walk between worlds and really be this clear vessel for God and for all these higher dimensional frequencies that I'm connected to, that I've been training for many, many lifetimes. And that requires a deep, deep level of surrender, of humility, and of trust. So yeah, definitely my path has not been one for the faint of heart, and it's still very much in the unfolding process and very much under construction. But yeah, this is where I'm at right now, and this is recently what my higher self has been like guiding me and pushing me towards, this energy of just embracing this energy of nobody. And it's really liberated me in so many ways, especially when my human self was caught in so many loops, because part of my journey has been going into massive disconnection and really losing myself in the template of the false matrix for a while, and needing to make my way out of that. And that's a video for another time, but that alone has been such a journey, because when we go so deep into the program and we are looping out, and we have all of these ideas and guilt and shame and grief and everything that we pick up and we experience and get traumatized within this system, you know, it takes a lot to undo and to be able to find your way back home. There is a whole journey, a whole process. And so when we cling to being somebody, the idea of being somebody, which in our world today so often has us chasing this state of being somebody, we're often attached to a fixed identity, a specific image of who we think that we should be or who we are. And while this can feel safe, it also limits us. It places us in a box. And even if that identity is positive or powerful, it confines us to certain roles or expectations or perceptions. And it becomes harder for us to evolve and to welcome new potentials, because shifting requires us to break out of that identity. And this is something that I see a lot of people in the spiritual community, and both sides, both those who are more attached to their 3D self and overly identify with their earth self, and those who are overly attached to their multidimensional self. They box themselves in with all of these roles of who they think they are, or identities, again, even if they're positive, and not realizing that it becomes very limiting. On the flip side, if we start to lean into this idea of being nobody, but feel into what nobody means. Nobody energetically opens us to the space of the void, where pure potentiality resides, and the void is where all possibilities exist before they take form. So by releasing the need to be somebody, you free yourself from limitations, and you become this open vessel, ready to receive like this divine guidance at any moment, because you're available, you're open to receive the energies, and you're able to transform and metamorphosize easier when we don't have like the interference of the ego, right? So what does this really mean? It just means to become more fluid and adaptable. Instead of being locked into a fixed narrative, we become more like a bamboo. So rather than being fixated on who we think we are, we become this free being to embrace whatever needs to emerge, whether it's new gift, new roles, experiences. It's like having a Zen mind, like what they call a beginner's mind, you know, a child's mind. We're open and fresh and free from any preconceived ideas and notions. So at first, letting go of a defined identity can feel uncomfortable. It's like releasing control and the safety of knowing who we are. But in this surrendering, we align ourselves to something greater. We become a channel for new possibilities to flow through us that are unimaginable when we're caught up trying to be somebody. So when you're nobody, you can really become anything that the moment calls for. And that means that you can lead. You can be oh, there's a beautiful rainbow. Oh, that's so cool. You can be a healer, a guide, a leader, a student, or simply just be a witness of whatever is unfolding, or letting the will of the divine unfold without you having to intercept or try to push or control. You're able to move fluidly between these roles, and you're not bound by attachment. And you're able to open yourself up to flowing through the expression that God wants to be expressed through you. And so I've truly have been refined in the fire of my own initiations, and this is why my journey has been one of letting go time and time again. It's been a journey of detachment and discernment. I've had to let go of so many things, of identities over and over. I've had to let go of people, places, and the biggest initiation I've had on my path is letting go of my role as a mother, letting go of my son, which has been the most incredibly difficult, painful, excruciating initiation that I have had to undergo. And I recognize now that it has a lot to do with my path. And my path, again, has been one about detachment and discernment. And though so much of my life has had this initiation of releasing everything over and over again, I realize that this is part of the magic, of making room to become who I truly am, not who I think I am, but really making room for that unfolding to unveil itself. So currently I'm in this space of in between. I like to call this in between space of becoming and being. And in this space, I'm learning to trust in the flow again, to be nothing so that I can truly be everything that God calls me to be. And I wanted to share this with you, and hopefully it helps you wherever you're at, because